I was not your typical athletically shaped netballer. I always knew it. I always carried that around with me. I always knew I was heaving a little bit more than everyone else, but I could see things happening before they were happening. I could move the ball and thread the needle. There were things that I knew I could pick up that they couldn't. But it didn't matter to average Joe or Auntie Barbara down the road who saw that I was bigger than them and just commented on that alone. So I knew it was there, but I also knew that I'd never seen anyone like me before. Damien, Sarah, Celia, Joseph, Simon, Cathrine, Amy, Nikki, Kerry and Christopher. There are 6 girls, 4 boys. We're all taller than the normal human, we're all louder than the normal human, and we're all just sassy. When I was younger, we were so free. We could play on the streets, we could stay up at the school and play at the park for hours. There was always someone to play with. If it wasn't the neighbours or the bros from school, it was actually, we just had ourselves. So it was awesome. I actually loved it. It was a great place to grow up. I was talent spotted as a young girl. My cute little school, Bay of Islands College, was playing against Avondale, and Cheryl Hindman, some people might know her or have heard her from the other side of the Waitakere netball courts. She came to watch someone from Avondale, and I just so happened to be there, and I was exactly what she was looking for. So there I was, humongous, 14 and playing at Upper North Island secondary schools. My memories of moving away from home were really sad and lonely. The school was 20 times bigger than the school I had just come from. All I remember is sadness. It was just lonely. I had no real support. I was just a sad kid who didn't have her parents or her older siblings to help. I'd been taken from my home. It still hadn't hit me when I had left home that netball could be a thing for me. I knew I was good at it. I knew I could be better. I was much bigger than everyone else. I was much stronger in my age group, and I was getting away with it. So I was playing really good, and it wasn't until I got tested at club netball by some older ladies, not so fit, and they were chewing me up and spitting me out, and I was like, hang on, I'm younger and fitter than you. How are you destroying me like this? And that's when I started to get a real taste for the tactics of the game and how I could be different to everyone else. So it was about then that I was like, okay, I think I really like this. I want to see how I can do it different to everyone else. And from there I started to get a little bit more serious. I remember watching Danica Wipaiti, and I was like, oh, she's young, she's really tall, I could be like her. She's from a small town as well, so I saw a bit of myself in her. And I think as I started to make rep teams, I started to understand that what I possessed physically was not enough. I still had to work a lot harder than everyone else. Did I know about the repercussions of playing for the Samoan team? Sort of. It was a bit vague at the time, but again, I think having the information now that I would have to stand down from international netball for 4 years if I represented one country for another, I think I might do it again. Samoa was an opportunity for me to still play netball. So I essentially had to play against the New Zealand team that I could have been available for. My stand down period was really interesting because it was around the same time that the ANC Championship had just started, and so we had integrated the New Zealand teams with the Australian teams, but also we had to go North Harbour, Auckland. So we had to lock arms with our arch rivals. Didn't like Maria at all. She was not someone I wanted to be friends with. We're both shooters, we're in the same region. She had heard about me before she saw me, and game face Cathrine is probably not someone you'd ask for a cup of sugar, you know? So she didn't really know me, and we got to know each other, and now we're like peas and carrots. And so it was a really interesting time, but I got to play that, which means my stand down period came around the same time I could still play international like netball. So I'm so lucky, grateful, blessed that it was a time that I could still play really good netball and still learn how to be, what it took to be a Silver Fern. I also got a lot of help from Netball New Zealand, so I was actually pulled in to the Netball New Zealand system. So essentially I became a training partner for the Silver Ferns, knowing that I couldn't take the court internationally, but knowing that I had some work to do and they were going to help me and groom me for when I could be available. So I'm so grateful for that too. They didn't have to. They could have been like, you made your decision, get gone. I was told, we're going to name you, but nothing's been confirmed yet. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. And I just let myself go. Like, holy crap, I did it. Like, I'm finally here. And so because I let that go, I kind of let myself believe that I had done it. And then once I got the call to say I couldn't go, it just shattered me. My heart just broke. We were going through a legal process because the exact same thing that I was trying to do, play for one country and then move to another, Wilhelmina Davu had done, played for New Zealand, took the court for Fiji. It's the exact same thing, same situation, and I wasn't allowed to do it. So that was really hard because I was working towards it and then it was like being handed to me, and as I was reaching out to grab it, it got taken away. So that was a bit of a rough time.
At the Trust Stadium Arena in Auckland, close to 5,000 here. And there is Team Latu. What a moment!
That was so cool. I had done so many crazy things before that. I had had so many ups and downs. To finally just be out there and just to be a part of it all, I remember the butterflies. I remember like, don't cry, someone's gonna see you, you're meant to be hard, don't cry. And so it was just, finally, it's here. After everything so many of us had been through. Netball New Zealand didn't have to do that for me. Yvonne didn't have to take me. She had some shooters at the Diamonds that she could have taken. I went to Samoa, I ticked a lot of people off. Like, there were so many things that had happened leading up to that point. It was just like, now I get to do the fun stuff. Yeah. I knew that I needed to get better in order, and this spanned along my whole career. I knew I needed to get fitter. I knew I needed to lose weight in order to take the strain off my knees and my ankles. It was more about my longevity and not about what some dick thinks about my stomach or my hips. That didn't bother me as much as not being able to play good netball. In saying that, I read it, I didn't like it, and I thought, God, hang on. I just thought, I don't have to tell you, random stranger from the street, the things I've had to do to be here. That's all. It doesn't upset me what was said. It upsets me that I shouldn't have to explain stuff. It was what I knew I had to go through to be able to stand there just so you could see how big I was, you know? And I'd giggle about it because that was my way of getting through it. Because it is kind of funny, I'm kind of sassy, I'll say things I'm not supposed to say, you know? And so it got easier and easier as I got older, because I knew that I was getting secret messages from girls that looked like me or felt the way that I felt. and even men that know that they're different to everybody else and they love netball but they're not very good at it, or they're bigger so nobody will pick them. So there were things I knew I was doing to change the perception of what a netballer should look like and how a netballer should play. So that always like calmed my heart down, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't piss me off, because I had to go through some pretty rough times. I had to go through some stuff. My netballing journey has had some massive highs and lows. There's been a lot of non-selection and then selection again. We've been up and down. A lot of it was me. A lot of it was me. When I wasn't wanted, that little 14-year-old in me is like, all right, I'm just going to go cry for a minute and I'm going to make you take me back. And that's part of my personality, is not giving up until it is time to give up. And I obviously got to a point where I knew I had fought the fight that I had, and I knew that if I was going to walk, then I was going to walk knowing I tried everything. And that's where we got to in the end. I'd been an athlete since I was 14. I had been playing netball semi-professionally since I was 15, so to be a mom and a wife was new. It was new. I was scared but excited. And then we got COVID, like one of the worst hit places in the world. We were going through a pretty rough time with COVID. We were trying to come home. We got cancelled, and then I had signed on to do some coaching stuff in England. Thought maybe, yeah, I'll get back into playing again, and then I got pregnant. So we're getting a little bit excited, like our family's growing, and then we go away on a little trip. Just out of town, because the country's opening up again, it's getting hot. We go to the beach, pretty much. Take our boy out to play in the sand, and on this trip, we lose our baby. It was weird because we were on holiday, and so it all happens at the A&E. It's a shit show. Nobody will see us. No one can understand what I'm saying. It's hard enough to know what's actually happening. But there was nothing we could do after that, so we stayed on our trip, and it was the weirdest thing ever, seeing our boy like loving life, playing in the sand, knowing what had just happened. But we stayed there and enjoyed our little time away under this weird cloud of despair and confusion. And then we get home and we have to carry on as normal. It was hard because we get excited about expanding our family, and then we lose a baby through miscarriage. We can't get into New Zealand. It was just a massive year. There are things that I have gone through and endured that have made me who I am. My resilience has come from netball. Of all the disappointments I've had through my netball career and all the heartbreaks, they're nothing compared to that. To know that we had each other, I think, was the only thing that saved us.